We'll now be making the chicken stroganoff with a rice pilaf, and to begin with that we'll get the rice cooking. So while the rice is cooking, we'll make the chicken stroganoff as well. To begin with the rice pilaf, we'll add a little bit of oil to the pan and also add a little bit of butter to it. This is about 50 grams of butter, and I add it to the pan and let the oil and butter mix together. You never put butter by itself because butter on its own can start burning, so you always add a little bit of oil to it. Alright, so here now you can see the butter is melting. As it's melting, I'm going to add a little bit of chopped onions to it. Not too much, just about 2 tablespoons of sliced onions will be added to the butter. Make it translucent. So that'll take about 2 minutes. We want the rawness of the onions to go away. Alrighty, so my onions are pretty much ready. At this point in time, I have some rice. We have about 7-8 people over here, so I'm going to I'd soaked the rice for about 15-20 minutes. So I'm now adding the rice. I drained the water out. Add the rice to this onion and butter oil mixture. Alrighty, so I don't really have to do very much. I just need to move this so that it gets coated with the oil mixture and the onions get mixed with it. I'm going to add a little bit of salt because we're going to add stock to it, which already has some seasoning, so we don't want to over season it. Alright, about 2 minutes. The only flavoring which will go into this is bay leaf, and with that we will also add, so I'll be adding like about 2-3 bay leaf to this, and I'll be adding some black pepper. I don't like to put whole black pepper, so I was like it little crushed powdered, for the simple reason if you get whole black pepper in your mouth, it's not very savory. You need this here for flavor, not to you make it like a peppery rice. It's just for flavor. I'm going to get my the broth. The chicken pilaf is cooked in chicken broth. It's not cooked in water. Now if you don't have bouillon or you don't have chicken broth, then you can use water, but there'll be a difference in the flavor. So here's my chicken. The chicken broth does 2 things. One, it will add flavor. The second one also is because chicken has a little bit of fat, so it will also moisten the rice so that when it's cooked, you know, the grains of rice are all separate and very nice and flavorful. So at this point of time, now I'm going to add the chicken broth to the rice. The ratio is whatever quantity of rice you use, especially if you're using basmati or whatever. If it's 2 cups of rice, then you add 4 cups of broth. That's the ratio. It's always double. Once it comes to a boil, we'll just let it cook for a couple of minutes. Then we'll cover it and then let it cook on low heat, and the pilaf will be ready. So as you can see now, it's come to a boil. I'm going to be covering it, and I'm just waiting for it to come to a rolling boil, and then I will be covering it fully and leaving it on low medium heat, because then it'll cook in the moisture and the steam. Alrighty, there you can see it's come to a rolling boil. So now I cover it and I put a low heat. चावल है, इसको थोड़े मक्खन और तेल लेके उसमें थोड़ा सा प्याज आपने छोड़ना है. प्याज को हल्का सा ट्रांसलूसेंट होना है, लाल नहीं करना उसको, ट्रांसलूसेंट. फिर जो चावल आपने उसको थोड़ा भिगो के रखा था, चावल का पानी निकाल के चावल को उसमें डाल देना और फिर उसके साथ तेज पत्ता और काली मिर्च थोड़ी कुटी हुई काली मिर्च, पूरी नहीं, साबुत नहीं, कुटी हुई, उसको करके 2 मिनट के लिए उसको उसमें मिला लेना है ताकि वो जो मक्खन और तेल है वो सब चावल के दानों पे लग जाए. जब वो हो जाए तो फिर आपने चिकन ब्रॉथ बना के उसमें आपने डाल देना है. चावल और ब्रॉथ की संख्या हर वक्त ये होती है जितना चावल उससे डबल ब्रॉथ आपने डालना है. इस वक्त आप देख रहे हैं कि वो पक रहा है, तो मैं अब इसको पीछे हल्की आंच पे डाल रहा हूँ ताकि ये पकता रहे और उतनी देर फिर हम अपना चिकन स्ट्रोगनॉफ बनाते हैं. So now the rice is going to cook. We will be starting on our chicken stroganoff. So again, to start with, we will be using a pan or a wok, whatever you wish to use, a pot. There's no requirement that it has to be this or that. Whatever is available, you use that. So here we are using this wok, which is like a kadai. We added the oil, just letting the oil getting a little warm. So here I have about 2 pounds of chicken. I'm adding some grated garlic. If you have garlic powder, you can use garlic powder also. Okay, so here's the garlic. I'm going to add some salt to it. And then I'm adding some black pepper. Alright, so now we'll mix it up. We want the salt, the garlic, and the pepper to coat the chicken. If you want, you can do this about 10-15 minutes in advance, but if you haven't, it's fine. You can do exactly what I'm doing. So now I'm going to take this chicken and I'm going to add it to the oil that we had warmed up. You're going to cook the chicken, and the chicken will brown a little bit also. So as you add the chicken, you work it in so that the oil coats the chicken, because when the oil coats the chicken, then the chicken starts to cook. So that's what you do right now. Just take about 4-5 minutes. The main ingredients for a stroganoff is the diced chicken, sliced onions. This, as you saw, had garlic and salt and pepper, and then mushrooms. And then we will make what we call as a chicken velouté, which is nothing but is when you make a white sauce, you make a roux, which is butter as well as flour, and that you cook with water. But this we will make it with a chicken stock. So that will make what is called as a chicken velouté, and then the chicken and the mushroom and all of that will cook in the velouté, and then your chicken stroganoff is ready. When we are ready to serve it, we will be adding some sour cream to it to give it that creaminess, and then we serve it with the rice pilaf. Now the reason why we're doing rice pilaf is traditionally in Europe, in the West, we serve chicken stroganoff. Normally they make beef, but chicken stroganoff can be made also Normally they would make it with egg noodles. But egg noodles can be a little more difficult to find in India. So for that reason, we will be making a chicken pilaf, and you'll try it, and it's very flavorful and tasty, and the two go along well. So that's what's happened. Rawness of the chicken is disappearing, it's becoming opaque. It's also starting to release some moisture. That is normal. But at this point of time, I just want it to start getting a little brown too. So I have it on full high heat so that as it cooks, it gets a little bit brown, not just that light golden color needs to come into it. Basically sauteing the chicken on high heat, but naturally it will release its moisture. That is natural. Sometimes when I find that it's releasing too much moisture, what I sometimes do also is I remove the chicken and then I reduce the moisture on a high flame and then I add the chicken back into it. So just some basic tricks of cooking, because you don't want it overcooked, because you don't want it to become dry and rubbery. Now we'll be cooking the onions and the mushrooms. First, I'm going to add the onions. The onions have started to cook a little bit, and so now we have our sliced mushrooms, and we're going to add them in. Now mushrooms have a lot of moisture, so it's going to release moisture, and we have to cook them till they start becoming a little nice and brown. So it will release moisture, and that is okay. That's what mushrooms do. Once they start browning a little bit, we'll be adding the butter as well as the flour. So it'll make a roux with the onions and the mushrooms, and once it gets cooked for like a couple of minutes, then we will add the chicken stock to it, which will make the sauce. And to the sauce, we will add some sour cream. You can also add some paprika to it for flavor. And like anything, you always taste it before you serve it. So here you can see the moisture coming out. That's normal, no big deal. Only we have to dry up the moisture so that the mushrooms get fried a little bit. We'll add a little bit of seasoning to it. Flavor is always important. You use salt and pepper, but you use minimal required quantities for flavoring, not for over salting or any of those things. Okay, we're getting to that point. We're going to be adding some butter, because remember we talked about making the roux like we make for a white sauce, and so I'm using about 75 grams of butter. ये जो रूह बन रहा है इसमें कोई 75 ग्राम मक्खन डाल दिया, अब उतना ही इसमें मैदा पड़ेगा. And then we will start adding the chicken stock. So here's the chicken stock which I got ready with hot water. So I'm going to add some of the stock first. And as you can see, it starts to make a sauce. And as it adds, it starts to thicken. You can see that it's starting to thicken. So I'll add some more to make the sauce. A lot of people, when they're cooking, they like to go this way. I like to go this way because vibrations flow in a clockwise direction. So very simple. So nothing complicated. And as you can see, the sauce is thickening right now. So I'm getting it to the right consistency. That's what's important. Because now once it gets to the right consistency, then I will be adding the chicken back into this. In the meantime, I want to show you that my pilaf is ready. So you can see over here how the grains are all it's long grain basmati rice. So they've all really, what in Hindi we say khil gaye. They just kind of blossomed. So the pilaf is ready. The stroganoff will be ready in another 4 or 5 minutes. And then we will be serving it ready now. So the chicken which we had cooked previously, I'm adding it back in. And again, like I said, mushroom is not a taboo. I was actually asked by Shinazi to make mushrooms for her. Before that, even I believed that, oh no, you don't use mushrooms. But that changed my perception about mushrooms. And so here now we let it cook for another 2-3 minutes, and then our chicken stroganoff will be ready. I will be adding a little bit of paprika, again for flavor, not to make it hot. So just for flavor, I'm going to add a little bit of paprika. You can adjust to whatever degree you want. Everybody has their own flavor profile, and you match it accordingly. One of the things with sour cream, when you add it to hot, it tends to kind of look like it's curdling. So one thing which you can do is you can add some sour cream in a container, add some of the hot sauce from here into it, and then mix it up. What it does is it kind of gets the sour cream to the temperature of the sauce. So when you add it in, you'll find that it will not kind of curdle, as you might say. So here now I'm adding this in here. So ये जो sour cream है, ताकि ये जैसे फट ना जाए, इसलिए उसका थोड़ा सा सॉस उसमें मिला दें, ताकि वो दोनों एक ही टेम्परेचर के हो जाए. उससे क्या होगा कि जब आप उसको डालेंगे तो बिल्कुल वो सॉस में अच्छी से घुल जाएगा, और जैसे कोई चीज़ फटी होती है वो नहीं आपको दिखेगा. तो इस समय जो हमने पहले चिकन को थोड़ा लाल कर लिया था, उसको हमने सॉस में वापस डाल दिया है. इसमें हमने मक्खन और मैदा बना के उसका रू बना लिया था. फिर वो करने के बाद उसमें हमने वो चिकन स्टॉक डाला, उससे उसकी वो सॉस बन गई, और सॉस बनने के बाद हमने इसमें सार क्रीम डाला, और ये अब तैयार है. तो अब हम इसको पहले चख लेंगे. You always taste before you serve, because if there are any adjustments, you do it at this point of time before you serve. It should be delicious, it should be flavorful, and be something which people enjoy. So that's our goal. So At this point of time, I'm going to put it on medium heat for it to simmer so that the flavors of everything blend. And in the meantime, we will also do a little taste test. So I'm first going to taste myself. As the cook, your responsibility that whatever you serve is nice and delicious. And like I said, this is the time when you adjust the flavors. So I'm going to add some of this here. I'm going to make my Sergio friend and my cameraman also taste it so I can get his input. Alrighty, and I think this is a dish which, whether you're European, you're American, you're from India, or you're from the Southeast, everybody will enjoy it. So happy cooking at ISPS, and I hope all the children get to enjoy all these recipes as we roll them out. Thank you very much.